Welcome back to Red Feather Farms. We're going to be building the metal gate today, so bear with us. We're going to do a little welding and a little painting and a little bit of fabrication. So just stay tuned. Most of this is going to be me doing a voiceover because, well, I'm going to have grinders and welders and fans and all kinds of stuff running. So that way, at least if I do a voiceover, you'll be able to hear. So we're going to cut the sound out and do a voiceover. So stay tuned. Welcome back to Red Feather Farms, and thank you guys for watching. If you like our videos, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, ring the notifications so you don't miss out what's going on here on the farm. And without further ado, let's build a gate. Hey guys, I'm gonna walk around here. We got a little project that I'm gonna pick and bring you guys in on, so that way you can see what we're doing here on the farm. This morning we're going to work on building the gate. We've got all the little parts together. It's just going to be a little gate's like 40.5 inches by 49 tall. The reason I made it 49 tall is because my panel, in which I'm using right here, you see that panel, that's 4x4 panel, is 4 foot tall, so I can get about a ½ inch or less than a ½ inch on each side. So on top and bottom where I can weld and be easy. So I'm just going to kind of show you a list of materials and what we started off with here. If you look at this metal, this is 1.5 by 1.5, 16 gauge, I believe. I just pulled it out of my scrap pile. That was a whole stick. That's a 20-foot stick, and 20 foot's going to make this gate with a little bit left over. I cut that, and I still have got some adjustments to do on this bandsaw. This bandsaw I got from Harbor Freight. You know, there's a lot of tools, if I don't use a lot, comes from Harbor Freight. And this was really nice, especially if you're making a lot of gates and doing a lot of square cuts, and it'll do 45s, things like that. But you gotta be careful to get it nice and straight and get it true. So I still got a little bit, just a little off. So let's just gotta go through a built list of materials. This is a 20-foot stick, and so I've got 20 foot left. I got 20 foot that I cut, and I've got this little piece that you see in the bandsaw. I have it left. Okay, this is the gate hinges that I'm using right here. You see those? I love those gate hinges. And then this is going to go on. I know that's round. I could not find any that were square, so we're going to put a square peg in a round hole and make it work. Those are going to hang onto the gate, and then these will go into the post. And see if I can flip this around a little bit so you can kind of see. Then this will go up inside this, and that will be my hinge. Okay, I went on ahead and picked up another set of them. I wished I'd have had this out of 1 inch instead of 1.5 inches. So those little clips right there are they're 1 3/8 inches, and they're fairly square. So for the next round, that's what we'll use on those. So that's all the materials. We got a 20-foot stick of 1.5 by 1.5 inches, 4 foot piece of panel, which I will end up cutting down just a little bit. I've got my Makita grinder with a brush on it, and I've got my other Makita grinder with a disc on it. And guys, this is one of the best investments I've made out there. This is a bad dog blade. It's a diamond blade. It's guaranteed for life. I think I paid like $100 for it, but when you wear it out, you send it to them and they'll send you a brand new one. A lot less sparks and stuff, and essentially you don't have to buy blades. This will cut plastic. It'll cut stone, it'll cut metal, it'll cut, it'll grind, it'll do everything in one blade, so you don't have to be changing out back and forth. I've got a little square there, of course my welding helmet and my hat. If I got to do a little grinding, I know a lot of people use your welding helmet, but I take it off. It's cooler when you use this little visor. Chip and hammer and a regular hammer, a set of gloves, and these little magnets I picked up at Harbor Freight also, and they're really good for helping you hold your corners together. And then again, you know, this is my little Chicago welder You know, it's a little wire-fed welder. So for these little projects like this is great. If I've got other projects, then we'll use, if it's bigger projects and it's away from the shop, then I use my my portable welder, which is a Hobart welder. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to get you set up on a tripod, and we're going to start organizing this stuff and putting it together and putting this gate up, and let you see what goes on the farm today. Part of it will be time lapse, so just hang with me. Talk to you later. Folks, right here you can see I'm at high speed cleaning the end of these this metal up. I just want to take and clean it up so it's a lot easier to weld. I'm eventually going to come back in here and clean up the entire piece of metal, but I find it's a little easier for me once I get it welded. It's a little easier to hold on to. But I'm going to clean this up so we get a nice smoother weld on there and a better adhesion. So you're seeing me at fast pace right here, cleaning these welds up. Now I'm going to take and set it up and square it up. I'm hooking the square down in the corner down there, make sure we're good and perfectly square. Hooking the ground lead on, and now I'm going to decide to change my gloves out, put my welding helmet on, and tack it on here a little bit. You're going to see me tacking it. I'm having some issue there. I don't know why, man. It's just my hood doesn't seem to want to darken much, and I'm like, that's a little bright. And I'll go on here for a little bit, and I'll finally figure out that hood is really and truly not darkening any. But I'll go ahead and get her tacked and grind it off where that way it feels a little bit better, looks a little better. And about here I'm deciding, well, I'm going to flip this thing over, maybe see if I want to weld it again. And I keep pushing down back and forth, you can see on there, but I just got an old pallet I'm laying it up on there so I don't have to get down on the ground on my knees to be able to weld on this thing. So now I'm at the point going, there's something's not right here. This helmet is not going on the automatic darkening. So I decided to take her apart and see what we can do to figure this out, if that's just me. Well, I did. I cut that footage out. I decided my batteries were bad. So I went to the house, and as you can see, I came back with another set of batteries, and we're going to put some batteries in it and see if that won't fix it. So let's see what we can do here. Now, it takes me a little while. You know, I tore it apart. It takes me a little while to get these batteries back and everything put back together, but I eventually do. As always, guys, it's a lot easier to take things apart than it is to put it back together. So we cut some of it out. I'm back to being high speed now. Oh my goodness, that works so much easier. It's so much easier to see and weld this way. So now I'm going to be welding for a while, and I'm just going to flip this thing over back and forth and just weld the corners and weld what we need. The little welder that I'm using is just a little wire-fed welder. Like I picked that up at Harbor Freight. It's a Chicago welder. And for this little jobs like this light gauge stuff and little jobs where I'm not having to weld continuously, that little welder does an outstanding job. One of the things I'd like to have a little bit longer lead on that, and I may put me another longer lead on it, because I noticed the other day I'd gotten it over on some hot metal, and the little cord that goes around everything, I believe I got it a little wet, or a little hot, that is. So I'm making sure she's squared, and we're gonna get this thing going and welded up here. Now I'm going, okay, she is not pulling in good. So we're going to use an old trick. We're going to take a ratchet strap, and we're going to go from one corner to the other corner. And as you can notice, I've got the corners are not exactly the same. I got one corner, the end is horizontal, the other one, the end is vertical. And I did that by design, guys, so that if it rains, the water doesn't collect down inside it. So all we're doing now is we're just tightening that up a little bit, and we're going to see when we come into square. My tubing could have been a little warped, you know, it did come out of my junk pile out there. So now we pulled it back in, and we're gonna finish tacking her up and weld her up nice and solid right there. So here we go, welding back up, and you'll see once I put a few welds on this thing that we're able to take that ratchet strap off, and she'll hold herself right into place just like she's supposed to. Now folks, let me tell you this too. I'm a welder, I'm a grinder, I'm whatever it takes to make it work. I am not a professional welder. And you know, there's probably welders out there that's professional that's going, hey Dwayne, you should have done this or you should have done that. And you know what, I agree. And hindsight's always 20/20. There's some little tips and tricks in here, but I never said that I was a professional at any of them. As the old saying goes, you know, a jack of all trades and a master of none, but there's a lot more to that little saying that everybody else doesn't quote, but we're going to leave it as it is right now. But the ratchet strap worked. We got her back into square, and so now we'll get ready and put the other end back on. So now we can kind of kick her up a gear. I'm going to finish tacking, welding the other side of it. And when I was editing this video, I was looking at it. I'm going, man, that thing looks as crooked as it can be, but it welded up straight. And I finally decided that what it is, it's the pallet that I've got on the sawhorses is bowed. So that's one reason for that. So, but we got her in high gear right now. We're getting her welded up. This took a while. It was hot. It was humid. I've got fans running on me in the background. But we're going to get the job done because we need to close it off so we can work some goats, and needed a good functional gate to be able to do that. So we're just going to flip this thing over and work on it, and then you're going to see me come back in here in a moment, and you're going to see me take the wire wheel, and I'm going to clean up the rest of that tubing so we can paint it when we get the panel all put on there. So you don't need to hear me continue to talk, so I'm going to take a little breather right here and let you just watch me work. Now we're cleaning up those welds so they'll look nice, seeing if there's anything we didn't weld up good. And we'll go back and finish it up, because 9 times out of 10 I usually forget something. I think I did pretty good on this round though. So what we're doing now is we're just going to clean that pipe up so that the paint will hold a little bit better, and when we weld that panel on, we've got nice good clean surface to be able to weld that panel to. Guys, I appreciate y'all watching my channel. I know for years I've had people tell me, Dwayne, you need to have a YouTube. You need to just show things that you do everyday life there on the farm, and little tips and tricks and little things that you do. And I've videotaped a lot of things. I've got a lot of video to show you guys, and I get it edited. That was the main thing. I really didn't want to. I didn't want to do that editing after I looked at that. This program that I use really intimidated me at first. So I'm learning the program. I am by no stretch of the imagination an editor, but I will fuddle through it and get some things done. So y'all just bear with me. Hopefully we'll grow and the videos will get better on the channel as we go through and do more of them. So just cleaning the wells up with the grinder now. Get splatters and a little bit of extra wire sometime. So here we go. I want to show you something here. This is that I believe it's Bad Dog blade. I bought that several years ago at a Mother Earth News convention, and it was like $100 for this thing, I think. but it's a diamond blade. It'll grind and it will cut. You don't have to change it out. You don't have to worry about it chipping and breaking. Not only does it work on metal, it'll work on wood, it'll work on plastic, even work on ceramic, and the blades don't break and fly all over where. You don't send tons of sparks like you do on the others. So I like it. You see right here, I cut that piece a little bit long. Actually, I cut it 3 inches long. I cut it to go on the outside instead of the inside. I should have measured twice and wouldn't have had to cut twice. So I just stuck her back in there in the bandsaw and cut her off, and she'll fit now. So we're going to weld that middle brace inside, and that'll be pretty close to where we put the gate latches at. So I think I ran off to go get something back over in the tool room. So now we're putting a piece of welded 4x4 stock panel. You notice it kind of sticks out on one end right there. That's okay with me. We're going to weld this thing up, and then I'll come back in and I'll grind that and cut it off. But that way we know it's going to fit. So the gate's a little 4 foot tall and a little bit less than 4 foot in width. So we're going to put some clamps down on there, hold that thing down, and start tacking her down and getting her welded. When I first started raising goats, I'll give you another little tidbit. I used a lot of what we call cattle panel. They're about 6-8 inches by 6 or 8 inches square, and they were a lot cheaper. And I thought that'd be a great way to go. And it was really nice on the pocketbook for a while, until every time I turned around, some of my goats were sticking their head through it and getting caught, and I was having to go out there with the portable saw and cut that piece of metal while that goat was going crazy and get their head unstuck out of it, because they'll never let you push their head back through. And how they get their head in there sometime, I don't know. But after fighting it, I finally decided, I'm tired of going out there and having to do that all the time. And I'd have 1 or 2 goats that every time you turn around, you could get their head out today, and 30 minutes later they'd have it back in another spot. And I'd take a piece of PVC pipe and I'd duct tape it to their horns so they couldn't stick their head through anything, and I called it the crown of shame. And some of them would learn after a while. You just leave that on there until the tape finally wears off, and tape it really good so it stays on for a while. And but I did have one goat. I'd tape it on, and dadgummit, it'd wear off, and the next thing I know, when she didn't have it on there, she knew she'd stick her head back through one of those sections of panel. So I finally decided, you know what, that's enough. Let's just get rid of those panels. And I've put those panels to other good use now. And I've gone back and gradually bought these 4x4 panels. Of course, they're more expensive than those cattle panels, but I don't have to pull goats' heads out of them. They're a lot stronger. All of my little gates and pins and things like that are all made out of these 4x4. I don't have to worry about little babies walking through. I did have some of those used on some little pins that I fixed up for first-time mothers, and I'd have babies just walk right through into the next pen with the other mother. And of course, that new mother, if that ain't her baby, she don't want it in there, and I had that issue too. So I just finally decided it wouldn't worth the headache to use those cheaper panels. Just go ahead and get these good, nice panels here. So. And yes, there is a lot of welds on those. If you're going to weld it, you might as well weld it good and get them in there nice and tight. So as you can see, that's what we're doing right here. We're welding them up nice and tight. So I'm going to shut up for a little bit and let y'all just watch me work. We're going to flip this thing over, and we're going to put the center brace piece in. You can see how she stands, how she looks. We'll center her up, get her in the right spot, and go to welding. Oh, there's Chewy. You can see him in the background. That's my puppy buddy. He comes to supervise what's Dad doing. As you guys can tell, that little Chicago welder didn't have to pay a whole lot for it, and but it's you know, for light duty work like this, it's a pretty good little workhorse. It does real good. I believe it's 35 amp. Now, I do not have it hooked up. It is hooked up for gas or for flux core wire, and I'm not going to fool with the gas for what I do down here, guys. I'm not doing anything really pretty. I'm just welding on the farm, so I use the flux core. So as you can tell, I've changed shirts, guys. I went in to get something to eat and rest a little bit and had to change shirts. I'd sweated through that one, so we came back and changed shirts. So now we're just doing some cleanup in here. I'm grinding off those edges, making everything nice and smooth and pretty, so nobody will get hurt or cut on any of those little sharp edges. And cutting the rest of it off. Then we'll get ready here and decide where we're going to put the hinge on this thing. And we had to get our hammer out and beat on it a little bit just to make sure where she's going to go. But we got her there. So I believe everything's good to go here. All right, I'm getting here and making sure I got all my hinge pieces and everything together. All right, folks. Wipe sweat out of my eyes. We had a pretty good little rain last night. It wasn't a whole lot, but I'm thankful for whatever we got. And it's getting humid this morning. So if you guys have never used one of these gates like this, man, I love them. I'm gonna really suggest them. I like them. You pick these little ears up, and what happens is when you go to shut the gate, see if you can see this as I go through. This little piece, which is on your gate, this is on your post. As it slides through, it pushes that up, and it falls, and it holds itself right there. Okay. And to release it, see if I can do this with two hands here, you pull up and that slides out. It slides right back in. Do that again so you can see it. Okay, I'll turn it this way so you can see it. As I slide this in, it pushes that ear up and drops back down. So this gate will open easily this way. I found the goats have never figured out how to open these gates. A lot of other gates, they'll figure it out because goats are smart. They'll figure it out. But we're using this. This goes on the gate itself, and this goes on your post. And so I've been in here measuring where I want that, cutting out for it, making sure I'll drill and tap it, and be ready to put some carriage bolts through this, all the way through this gate, and this will hold this secure. If you see this little bottom spot and you wonder what that's for, you got one on this. As this goes through, you can put a carabiner or a lock or whatever and actually lock that gate. Okay. Okay, so that works really good. I hope I've got everything in so you guys can see it. Okay, I'm going to do another little piece of video here and bring it down so you guys can see this work. If you do it here, this slides in. You notice this here comes up. I can pull that up, releases it, let it down, it slides in. I'll do it in slow-mo, maybe. See it go up, locks in, and the gate works from either direction. You can see that this way. Okay, do it again. So I really like these latches for these gates on this. So just a little thing. I'm not endorsing them. I can't even remember what brand they are. I bought a whole bunch of them when I found them on sale one time. And but I like them, so I'm putting them in everything I can. Here we are, guys. I'm installing the part on the gate, the little lip on the gate that goes with the gate hinge, so you can see me drilling the holes to be able to put that in. So we'll get this done and do a little paint job on this thing. So I'm back with you. And having a little bit of trouble with my drill there. It just doesn't want to have the RPMs. I'd been having some issues, and then it would start working again. And I have, since I published this or filmed this video, I use a lot of rigid tools because they are guaranteed. And I sent that rigid tool back, and they could not repair it, and it's guaranteed for life. So I just got an email that they're sending me a brand new rigid tool. So that's a variable speed drill. So that's really nice. You know, on the farm you got to kind of hedge your bets a little bit, and I may pay a little bit more for that. But the great thing about it is it is guaranteed for life, and so if it breaks or whatever, other than me just being mean to it and tearing it up, it's there. So now we're going back in and cleaning up the wells, cleaning up all the trash off of them where I welded around, making the last minute cleanups, making sure everything looks nice and pretty, and all the little pieces of wire off is gone. So now we're getting ready to do a little bit of paint. Alright guys, this is the Rust-Oleum 2X paint. I mean, none of these guys sponsor me. They don't know who in the world I am, but I have found on a lot of farm applications that this Rust-Oleum paint is really nice. It tends to do a really good job, and so I like using it. I've got me if you see a little handle that I can pop over the top of that thing, and it makes it a lot easier for me to paint with. So I know you're looking to go, man, he sure is painting fast. Yeah, well, that's just years and years of practice let you be able to paint that fast. Not really. So use of sweeping motions, like I just said, it's I showed you there. It's a whole lot easier. Don't, you know, you start to paint, then you hit the surface that you're going to paint, and then you follow it through the other direction. So it's a lot easier, does it? It's a lot smoother when you do it that way. So and you're probably not going to see the back side of this. I'm just going to paint one side. I will let it dry and flip it back over. But you know what? You guys are really and truly, you're probably not watching this video to watch paint dry. If you're still here with me, I appreciate it. Thank you for watching our videos. Hit the like and subscribe button.